There is a previously on, yes, and you want to skip ahead to 1 minute and 1 second. That will start you right at the same point that I'm at. All right. Are we ready?
Mary
Yes,
says
sir.
she does have it too,
Yeah.
John.
Fantastic. All right. So if you've been here before, you know what we're doing next. If you are new, grab that remote, have that thumb on that play button, but don't hit it quite yet. We're all going to hit that button at the same time on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Mine like took a little second to load, so it's a little tiny bit behind. Oh, is this ice smells like snow?
Maybe.
Maybe.
I get that grumpy with cold.
I apologize if I say I love a lot this season. It's because this is my favorite. See how wet the streets is? That the street are that's why she can smell.
Wait a second. Did she say I smell snow once before?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, if you
Season
would have
one.
watched the previously on, you would have seen.
Yeah, when Max's car breaks down and starts out.
See, this is what I'm talking about. I like this. I like when they bring little things like this back in shows, you know? Something as small as this.
This is like the second or third time they've just since
Yeah, they definitely mention it several times.
That is a lot of snow all of a sudden.
right. Dancing, give me your idiot.
It could kind
Yeah,
of
that-
happen like that.
Yeah, but you can see it's only really landing right around them. If you see really far past that, it's like there's no snow all the way back there.
Don't ruin the snow.
I was going to say, I grew up in Western New York, and even then, you know, that just is so silly to me.
I grew up in Minnesota, and sometimes it snows real hard, real fast.
I went to Catholic school in Rochester, New York, right on Lake Ontario, and they always said that you had to have Jesus come personally sign a slip to say that you could have a snow day. That's how few we had.
Oh yeah, there's not much in the snow days around here either. It needs to be like 2.5 feet or 90 below zero.
Same. I grew up in Chicago. I don't remember ever having a snow day, to be honest.
I had so many snow days living in DC, like coming out of college, when I was first working, because the city couldn't handle it.
Yeah, me too. I live in DC.
I could probably count on one hand the amount of snow days I had in my years of schooling.
I'm from Ohio, so we had plenty.
Hot mutton.
I got up to go get a snack, and my dog decided that he was going to push pause on my episode.
That looks like VFX, I think, in the background through the window. No, maybe not.
There's your Monty Python connection, John.
Aha.
I love it. Want a sock in the nose?
I love this part.
Dog.
I love the puppy.
This seems like it was definitely shot in on a stage.
Does kind of look like it, doesn't it?
Is this Paul Anka?
I was waiting
No.
for that.
What did
Every
you
dog
ask,
is-
John? If it was
Every
Paul-
dog
I
is
said,
called
is
Pauline.
this Paul Anka?
Do you want to know the answer?
Every
I don't want to know the answer because I have a feeling that the answer is yes, finally.
All dogs are called that.
and all dogs are Paul Anka. Exactly, Chris.
All dogs
From
go
the
to
first time
heaven.
we watched the episode, we call it.
All dogs go to heaven and also are Pauling.
Yes.
Domino effect.
Ooh.
Whoa, Rory.
Dang.
It's the first time we've ever seen Christopher with an unshaven face.
Ooh, interesting. That's true. Also, just like, what's his deal? Why is he just like just showing up there like that?
Yeah, and asking to play hooky. I don't like that.
Yeah. But I feel like there's something much bigger here than they're not than we're not seeing.
What's with all the guys in Rory's life disrupting her schoolwork? I don't like it.
Yeah.
I agree, Diana.
Leave her classes alone.
You know who isn't though? Dean
Marty.
isn't.
The hat.
Marty.
Dean and Marty, they didn't disrupt her schoolwork.
That's right.
Because they're
Dean-
nice guys.
Michelle was the one guy that came into work.
Man, Marty did considerably better in the poll in the what team are you on poll than Dean did. Man, Dean really miserable.
If you had left
Dean is
Marty
so
out,
third season.
Still, the fact that you had Mia as a team. So
Ew, what is Lorelai doing? Gross.
Is that leftover coffee from people's cups?
it is indeed.
That's so gross.
Never noticed that. That is so desperate.
Ew.
yeah.
Oh, disgusting.
You know what? It's about time Lorelai had an intervention.
That is disgusting,
Ick,
Laura.
ick, ick.
And be very careful. She's near a knife.
That's
Good, she's got
easily
some extra feet to protect her from.
that is easily the grossest thing that I've seen Lorelai do. That's disgusting.
Right?
It's very desperate for coffee, though. I kind of get.
Oh, I totally get it.
Oh, those caffeine withdrawal headaches. So
Oh, so bad.
She should have gotten some at Luke's when she was.
Should have. Absolutely.
They're like talking to each other as though they don't really know each other that well. Hello, Richard. Hello, Emily. Hello.
Yeah, it was a little formal for people who've been married 40 years.
Mary pointed out to me earlier that as soon as Emily had a crisis, the first person she called was Richard.
Of course it was.
See, I think that makes sense because he's right there.
The beginning of intimacy.
I had a Jack Russell. Crazy dog.
Yes, they are.
The internet had been around a lot, like a whole decade before this.
Right, but not for them. The best Jack Russell Terrier is Wishbone.
Oh, I wonder if they'll start to kind of date again. And they'll be kind of finding their early part of their relationship again, maybe. Emily and Richard. Because there's something about this, like the fact that they've kind of gone back to talking to each other like they don't know each other. There's the opportunity for them to, maybe kind of have a crush on one another. Did he really put it there, though? Did he really put it there? That wall?
He wasn't around, so he feels like he did.
I love how they just landed on girl audition.
I've never noticed
That's
that.
funny.
There's gonna be a lot to talk about after this.
Oh, that was Lulu.
Yeah, number 3.
Yep. This is my second favorite Kirk. Line of the series.
Oh, I agree.
This would have been a good episode for him as well.
That's why I came on the couch. The missing Jews and Chinese food. This is a great substitute.
Oh, Miss Patty.
Creepy.
So creepy.
Kirk is such a stage mom.
I love him being a stage mom.
It's so great.
I would love to see what Kirk thinks is hot.
That splash sound effect was very funny.
Yeah, it was really.
Hep. The Hep kids.
Snow doesn't seem to
Being
be her
kid.
friend this time.
Yes.
Oh, Kurt.
Love it.
Cube out of the tray where they put the dirty dishes.
Oh my gosh, I thought that too.
What's wrong with stew?
Stew
I-
is yummy.
In the winter.
Love stew.
It's for the pores.
I love me some
True, since it's all lumped together.
It's the leftovers that you put together to make something new.
Who taught her to sew? Home ec?
Maybe she just had to learn on her
taught
own.
herself when Rory was a baby. They said it at Rory's birthday party.
Okay, I kind of remembered something about that.
Yeah, pretty much out of necessity, right? To make their clothes.
Yeah.
I feel like she's always the seamstress for everything. I could also see sewing being something that you learn as a young, like, debutante slash high society lady.
Or somebody who just wants to alter everything and mother buys them.
True.
Oh, good point.
I mean, we
Very
had
good
home
point.
economics in school. Maybe she had it too.
Must not be very cold.
Oh no.
I want to know why she still has a soft top on during the winter months.
Hey, I know a foot model.
Are you saying you're a foot model?
No, why would I say that?
You just mean you generally know, you just happen to know somebody who's a foot model.
Yeah, a friend of mine is a foot model. No, I have perfectly average feet.
Oh, it was just the way you said it. You were like, I know a foot model. Like, should I know who they are?
I felt the same way, Sabrina.
I did too.
Yup.
I promise it's not me.
Like
No
like
way.
George Costanzo, and he was like a hand model. Remember that one?
Yeah.
Oh,
Joey
yeah.
Tribbiani with his hand model, with his hand twin.
No, my friend who's a foot model also is a museum something or other. She is trying to recover stolen Nazi artifacts, things that were stolen by the Nazis.
Puppies bringing people together every day.
They're being so civil.
They're being playful, a little bit like flirty.
I'm telling you, I'm sensing that that's what's happening.
Yeah, there's some tension there.
Oh, that's so cute.
Ooh. Oh. Uh-oh.
I like how they have to say Christopher's father because no one cares or remembers who Strobe is.
Right?
Oh, no wonder. Now I know why. Now it makes sense why he said that, but I don't want you to just come visit me because you have to.
See, I remember Strobe, but it's because he scared me and like just scarred me for life as a character. How John feels about Mia, I feel about Strobe.
Same, Reggie.
Well, that makes sense.
Is it supposed to do?
Rory just met Strobe that one time, right?
Yeah.
Where
Yep. Yes.
I think she's feeling guilty about how she was towards her dad, not about the granddad.
right.
Exactly.
When did he mention that to Rory? Is that just like
He
in
told,
between episodes?
He mentioned
told
at
her
the
his
school.
dad was sick
Yeah, this morning.
when he was giving
he
her the coffee.
Oh,
I think you were still
Poor
making
Rory.
dating predictions when they had that conversation, John.
yeah. My episode's a little off, I think.
She just pulled up to a house where that's definitely Kyle's house from the party.
And you can really tell that that's
You're
just a
right.
blanket. You can really just tell that snow was like a full-on just felt blanket. And then the scruff, they really have let that scruff grow.
That's sweet. She went there.
Yeah.
These are, by the way, the grungy Lalas. Just a reminder, you know, Chris and his, you know, and his scruffy beard gets the like.
How did that go?
He gets the come and have a cup of coffee, Lalas.
See, this is my favorite Rory. This kind of Rory.
Mine too.
That's my kind of milk and cookies.
I don't know if that's really appropriate.
Yeah, and dangerous.
Maybe she
Very
should have brought him
much.
coffee in the morning.
Yeah, and late at night and tequila. I don't think that's appropriate.
Or we should have went back in with her.
Yeah, that would have changed the dynamic.
What if she was a boy?
Rory's hair's pretty messy.
I can see her hair changing between shots.
I felt like that too. Getting messier.
The one shoe on.
Did she say overstretching his laundry?
Overstarching.
Overstarching.
How did she get home?
I wondered that too. Did she spend the night? How can you drink that much tequila that you're hungover but still drive?
Was she just saying she drove home in the morning?
Yep.
Mm.
And it sounds like Rory came from school this.
Do we think Strobe really was Kuwaiti?
I can see it.
Is Christopher a person of color?
I blame her.
I love how Rory is really protective of this relationship.
She doesn't want to ruin it. She loves Luke.
And since when are pancakes hangover food? She's ordered them so many times before.
That's what I was thinking. I don't think he'd be suspicious at all.
No, not at all.
I think he would probably be, I think he would have a little issue.
I'm sure he would have an issue, but it would be better if she told him right away instead of lying.
Yeah, I agree.
Exactly.
I agree. I was just commenting to that he would be cool with it. I don't think he would be. Where's the rabbi? They couldn't book him. He must have been working on something else.
Maybe he was conducting a bris.
That redhead child is from The Sweet Life of Zach and Cody.
Ah, see.
Coconut.
Aha.
I'm Justin McGill.
I remember that movie.
It's kind of awesome to know that Michael Winters knows how to ride a horse.
He looks good doing it.
I mean, he clearly knows how to ride a horse. I mean, he rode that horse in.
Wait for it.
God.
Yes. What shade of lipstick do you guys think Kirk is wearing? Vicious Trollop?
Absolutely.
Oh.
100%.
Look at his come hither.
It was a good one. He's practiced.
Reverend left. She's so sad.
She enjoyed that she was spending time with him.
I know. It's a good
I
experience
know.
together.
Oh.
He
Not
said,
Paul Anka. Not Paul Anka, I guess, huh?
Not what?
No, not Paulinka.
No.
Not Paul
What's
Anka.
princess?
No, definitely not.
definitely not calling.
But they're all pawing.
Her pink phone. It's a
With that little charm hanging off of it. It's so cute.
2005. Good time.
What is going on here?
I forgot this was in this episode.
Rink in a box.
I think it's a big deal.
Foreshadowing.
That's kind of a big deal. That's,
Very big
that's a-
deal.
that's a lot of water, isn't it?
It's a lot of work.
Would have taken a
Very
long time to
romantic.
freeze.
That's what I was
Maybe
thinking.
it's not. Maybe it's not really that much water. It's probably just a thin layer of ice.
It's still a lot of work. I have a friend that does it for his kids every year. It looked like it was a lot of work when you put it together.
It's kind of sad she lied to him and then he does this sweet gesture.
Right?
Totally.
Makes me sad for Luke.
I love this moment between the two of them. You were lying to me.
But Rory did tell her to lie to him.
Yeah, but she should know better. Rory doesn't have the best track record with relationship.
But
No.
he just brought it up and
Hate
said,
that
you lied to
she
me.
had a perfect
And she
opportunity
should've-
to come
Yep,
clean,
she had
and she didn't.
Yep, she totally should.
That's definitely wax, I'm guessing.
You said
What?
wax?
Yeah, it's like
Those
one of
sort of
those
plastic
wax.
ice, yeah.
Yeah, one of those plastic ice rinks. Like we have them in LA.
They have them inside stores too sometimes for people to test skates on. At least here they.
I
Yeah,
did
you can
some
see
work
it.
on I did some work in plastic ice rinks a long time ago. Like 20 years ago.
Oh yeah, Shelly, we talked about that because my brother told me about the glice that they use in Florida. They call it glice.
Glice.
Diana wanted to know what crafts are made out of.
Yeah.
What Crocs are made of? The shoes?
Yeah, because Shelly's an expert.
They're made out of the same material that they make ice
No, we
rinks out
just were talking about plastic stuff.
Yeah, we had a riveting conversation about plastics and other materials. It was really exciting.
of. The last thing on
A good
the
pair.
last thing on earth that I would want to know is what Crocs are made.
Well, I was very interested. It was kind of cool.
We have so many experts on so many things. I'm fascinated.
I'm gonna open up the couch. We are open for business. Come on up. Hang out with us.
Hi,
Let's chit chat. Let's chittery chat. Let's chittle chat.
I feel like I want to make a joke about being open for business, just like, the Stars Hollow girl.
the Stars Hollow whore.
Do
The
it.
woman of questionable moral.
Woman of
Bits of
questionable
stuff.
morals.
Vicious
I love it. I love it.
One of my favorite Kirk moments of the entire series.
Oh my god.
Where's the,
okay.
my girlfriend's the
Is on the
whore. My
couch.
girlfriend's the whore. Like that's one of my favorite lines Kirk has ever said.
Good.
And then him taking on the dress and doing the whole scene with Taylor. Oh my god, it's just classic Kirk. And it's one of my
I see you
favorite
down
things
there,
ever.
she.
Hi, she.
I know. I had to
Hi,
do
she.
it.
Howdy.
Is that who I think it is?
Whoa.
Shiva's joined the couch.
Yay.
So where do we want to start?
Oh, can we start with the Lalas? Jonathan, what is
I
that?
was gonna say
Jonathan.
There's a grungy one.
every time he said
Look, did you notice the difference with the Lalas this episode, John?
I just noticed those grungy lalas that came in when she went over to see her dad.
I mean the la 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 la, and then they continued with the same one.
I guess
That one?
yeah. I think so. I mean, I just register those as these kind of la, la, la.
Well, Christopher did just lose his dad, John. I mean,
Yeah,
give
yeah.
the Lalas a break.
No,
you
I
know,
mean,
like,
I mean that was what I was sort of getting at, is that they picked a really good set of lalas for that kind of a moment. This is real, kind of rumpled, disheveled, unkempt lalas.
To match.
okay, that was a good save. I thought you wanted to fight because I know you like
those
fighting.
were a scruffy set of lalas.
You're like a good little conflict. Yeah, I liked that one mostly because I was like, oh, this is long. And then the one at the end when Lorelai was skating on the ice, that was a new one.
I noticed they didn't subtitle the Lalas though.
Yeah, they usually don't do that on Netflix.
And Carl is our Lala expert.
Notice when Sam Phillips comes on.
Carl will dissect lalas in a laboratory.
Yes, one of the biggest things that pull me into consuming media is good music. And
There was
the
a lot of
Lala-
those sad strings on there too, this episode, because she was feeling like needing to break up with the snow. There was a lot of sad strings.
Oh yeah.
Yes, Snow
Carl
was not her
needs-
friend today.
Carl needs to record all the Lalas for us and create a soundtrack of.
I'll do it for some Colonel.
I'll pay the Colonels.
I have
A lot of people here
I
has
just,
given
I just
me
approved.
has
I
tipped me
just approved
Colonels.
a new. I just approved a new suggest. I just
I
approved the
will-
new community suggested feature from somebody. I don't know who it was, but the feature just says more kernels. 8 kernels just ain't cutting it.
You know what? Whoever did that, you're a smart one. You're very godly.
Is that what the Stars and Ranchers is all about? Or
Everybody go and vote.
Show me the money.
Right? I want to send kernels to that person.
I think it sounds a lot like Carl.
Show me the money, John.
Look, I'm not going to be broke on the Remarcus too now.
All right.
Y'all go.
All right. So, let's talk about Christopher. Let's talk about Christopher. So I want to kind of get back to this discussion that we've had before. He insists that he put up a wall, but I'm sort of feeling like Rory's been the one putting up the wall. I feel like he's been trying his best to actually engage them as much as he can.
I think he's trying to take blame for all the years where he wasn't always around when she might have needed him. I think that's what he might be trying to refer to.
Exactly. She's 20 years old, and I feel like he has not been there, and he's tried. We've seen him how many times come in, and things just get so complicated with Lorelai and him, and then he backs off, and it's just he was never able to separate his relationship with Rory. It was just very complicated. And I think now that she's almost 20, I think there is a wall there. And when you're the parent, you have the responsibility to make sure that you are there for your child. I mean, I guess I'm glad he's coming around when she's 20, but there's a wall because he's put it there by not being there for her.
Yeah. Stacy.
Yep.
Come on, tell us the therapist view.
So I think that I think it's sort of related to some of the attachment style stuff. When you are struggling with relationship with your parent, it can really impact how you parent your kids. And I think probably for him, he felt
And I think that's
Connected.
times a theme with Lorelai is that she doesn't always consider other people, like romantically or otherwise. She doesn't always consider how other people will feel about her actions or even her words. So I think that's just that's a fault in her that she obviously should work on. But I really do think that when she went over there without discussing it with Luke, it was just like she didn't think about it. Like, I really honestly believe she just didn't consider that she should, because I mean, she's not used to having to answer to other people.
Yeah, I feel like Lorelai just makes a lot of decisions where she thinks she knows what the other person needs or is helpful, or she thinks she's being helpful, but she's not really asking them what they need. I mean, even just her showing up at Christopher's with, tequila, maybe he just needed to kind of talk and process and not necessarily drink. I just think she does that a lot.
I think that comes with how long they've known each other. Like maybe she just knows the way that he processes things.
I agree with Jessica. I feel like if anyone's going to know him, she would. And then, additionally, it's not like she went over there with sketchy motives or whatever, right? So like, given the circumstances, and given what she knows, about him, is it really something that she should have had to tell Luke? And this is a conversation piece. Is that something that she should have? I mean, is it something like Richard 40 years later having innocent lunch once a year? This was that first lunch, right? Like, so we all kind of came down on Richard for, he should have said something that very first time. And then this could be one of those very first times, right? And
Thank you.
Yep. So yeah.
Yep.
See, and that's
That's
the thing that I'm trying to get on there, because with
I
Lorelai,
hadn't thought about it like that.
yeah, that's kind of the thing that should be discussed, because there are times where characters will lie about something to a person that they supposedly love, and then it just becomes kind of a bigger thing or starts to cause like a distance in the relationship, like with Jess and the Swan, Richard and Penelon, and then here's Lorelai, Christopher, and the tequila. It's like, could this be something that could cause a distance between Lorelai and Luke? Could this be something that could, catastrophically like harm their relationship because she held it back? I understand that Lorelai is a proactive person and she does things without thinking about other people. We see this with, her relationship with Rory Gilmore, but that can be discussed at a different time. But it's kind of like, where is that really coming from? Like, is there an emotional wound somewhere in there? I mean, the best way that I can see it is like her rebellion against Emily and Richard, but everyone in the world is not Emily and Richard. And she knew that when she ran away from them and went to Stars Hollow. So why is she still doing it? I think that's the reason why I don't like this storyline with Lorelai, and why it does make me a little upset. It makes me very annoyed with Lorelai Gilmore with the season, because she's just doing a lot of these things with someone that has literally gained her trust with practically everything. And it's just kind of ridiculous. It's very ridiculous. Like what she did here and not tell Luke, it's like, for what?
Or maybe she takes that trust for granted and she's like, well, because I know this thing is innocent, then it won't be a problem for Luke.
But if
Like,
if it's innocent, why tell him? Because if this was Suki and her dad just died and you took over tequila, obviously it's not a big deal, right? Because that's her best friend. But this is Christopher and all their history. They have a child together. They've had a sexual relationship. There's just so many layers to why this is not just innocent. Even if she thinks, well, no funny business is going to happen. It's still an inappropriate. It's still crossing boundaries that she should be respectful of her relationship.
I think this goes back to earlier too, because I thought that I'm in the camp that thinks that she was about to tell Luke at the diner. Like that's where I think this whole thing comes back to, was whether she was going to her.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, that right there, I think the fact that it's just there's so many layers with her relationship with Christopher, and Luke even knows it. I mean, it was clear in season 2 when she saw Christopher, you know, be up with Sherry, and then she was sad sitting in Luke's diner, and he clearly saw that. Like, he knows how the relationship is, so he knows the layers. She knows the layers, so it's just, I don't know. That decision to lie to Luke was.
Well, then there's
seems very
also
ridiculous.
Rory didn't even tell her that she had seen Chris.
Rory is.
Rory,
That's post show, Thomas.
Rory is trailing. She's so behind on your favorite Gilmore poll that we've got going on right now. She's in last place currently.
She's one of my least favorite characters.
It's so interesting.
I'll
I
take
mean,
her over Lorelai any day.
I love it. I didn't really, that poll is so illuminating because I haven't really thought too much about what the whole fandom feels like. I kind of come at this like, you know, sort of with my own feelings about it, and I guess I kind of assume that like that the way I'm seeing it is exactly the way everyone else is. So I was expecting Emily to be a lot further up the charts, but I kind of knew that, you know, I know that people have an issue with her, but where I was just absolutely shocked, I didn't realize that the fandom, I mean, I don't know if this is the fandom, certainly our community, those who have voted on it, and my gut tells me from the, you know, I can't really see the numbers and see how many people have voted, but my sense is that a lot of people have voted, you know, relative to our community on that particular poll. And I'm just surprised that Rory is so far behind, and that Lorelai is just at like what looks like about 65%, which is just, I just think that's sort of crazy to me. But you know, I mean,
Can I explain? Like, I voted for Lorelai. You want to know my reasoning behind it?
yeah, certainly.
Okay, so I voted for Lorelai because out of all of the Gilmores, I find that she has the most redeeming qualities. Even with all of her faults, I feel like even though she doesn't always make the right decisions, a lot of the decisions she makes are with good intentions. I feel like she doesn't often try maliciously to hurt people. Like, I feel like Rory maybe didn't try maliciously to hurt every boy she's ever dated and Dean like 800 times, but she did it because out of selfishness. I think that Lorelai, out of all the Gilmores, is the most selfless in the way she behaves. And I also think that she's the most honest with her feelings, which is a quality that I admire because I'm not that way. And I'm honest, you know, to certain people, but like if something's upsetting me, I most often just keep it to myself and like secretly resent the situation or the person or whatever without saying anything. And I think that a lot of characters will resonate with people when they have qualities that that person wishes that they also had.
Yeah,
And I wish I could be like that. And I also think that she's the most well-rounded. Like, Rory's very academic, but she's not super fun, which is what we've discussed in the past with, you know, why we're glad that Logan's in the picture. And Emily, you know, she's pretty one-dimensional too. And the same with Richard, you know, they're just upper crust society people. They do upper crust society people things. And you don't really ever see them doing anything out of the ordinary or just fun or silly. And I think that Lorelai is the most well-rounded character as well. Like, she has more than one interest, and she, you know, is funny and smart, and she's silly. And so I think that, like, out of all the characters, she is the most well-rounded person in general.
I
Yeah.
disagree with one thing though. We do see Richard do silly things here and there. I mean, they go to the football game. He's
Well,
singing with the
yes,
Whistles and
I
doing things
know,
like that. He
but-
goes
Richard
and
is great.
pulls pranks with Rory
But-
and some of the guys at school. I
I'll
mean,
take
Yes,
Richard
but
over
I
Lorelai
didn't
any
say
day.
that. I didn't say that none of the other characters do anything silly. I just said that she is the most, like, she does it the most. She
Mhm.
is
I'm with you, Amanda.
more fun than everybody else.
I agree. Like, I think what it is that the show it always feels very much born out of Lorelai's character because it's at once smart, funny, quirky. It lives in all these different worlds, and she embodies all of those qualities. Like, it almost feels like the show itself is
Or
Um,
is like inside Lorelai's brain.
exactly. That's exactly it. It's like she is in all of these places, and everyone in the town who's like a little quirky is like Lorelai's quirky side. It's like it's her sparkly personality. It's her one line.
It's almost as if the town of Stars Hollow might not necessarily look that way through anyone else's eyes. That we're watching this show through Lorelai's eyes, and because of that, the town is this way.
Yeah, I sort of sometimes feel that way, and I feel like as the viewer, like we see everything through Lorelai in a way because we see it with like this kind of dual knowledge that it's, it can be a serious show, it can be full of heart, there can be serious issues, but it's also very light and very funny and super witty, and that kind of personality follows the entire show. So even if Lorelai's not in the scene, it feels a little sparkly, a little funny, a little witty. It's like the whole show feels touched by Lorelai, like Lorelai's character, and whether that's, I mean, obviously that's a writing trick, but like for me, that's why I love her the most because she's the show. She is the show. Yep.
Okay. That makes a whole lot of sense. That's cool. But yeah, I guess, that makes a lot of sense for Lorelai. I'm still surprised that Rory is so low compared to everyone else. I mean, I guess not so low compared to Emily and Richard, but they are both
To
ahead
me,
of
she's
her.
very unscrupulous.
I'll say this, John. Just keep watching.
Keep in mind, John, you are talking to people who have seen everything.
Okay,
and you're
good.
judging from where you are right now.
Oh, right.
You and Chief
and
had
that-
this conversation.
And that also probably includes Year in the Life as well.
I want to hear She's point of view of Rory.
John, do you think that Marty's going to be in A Year in a Life?
Oh my goodness. If Marty is in A Year in the Life, first of all, the amount of colonels that I expect to be winning, just from Carl alone.
John, we
I
didn't make
feel
that
like
bet officially.
We never
Yeah,
made
I
any of
already-
these bets
I'm already
official.
I'm already feeling very, very excited about the large colonel win that I feel is coming on this whole prediction that Christopher is going to be a huge point of conflict in this season for the Luke and Lorelai relationship. So I'm very excited for all of your
Who did you
colonels.
make that bet with?
Exactly.
Yeah, I didn't make that
Yeah,
bet.
I didn't make that bet.
I didn't make any.
I didn't make that
I
bet
have
either.
very few.
I
I mean,
mean,
I have.
I don't have
recorded
that many
John,
either.
let me go
Can I
think
just
Steve and
say,
John have a side bet going.
yeah, that must be Sheev and John. I would just like to say that, John, I think that is so precious that you are standing by your man, Marty, because
I love Marty. I mean, I'm really hoping that I'm not completely thrown a loop here and Marty does something absolutely deplorable in the next few episodes. But but as of right now, I can't imagine how anyone would not want to be Team Marty. I just don't see it. I mean, I will say that it is kind of crazy to see how far ahead Marty is in the team poll that we have on Remarcus from Dean. I mean, Dean is a sliver. I mean, even Team Mia beats Dean in that poll?
Because, you know, we don't see her as a bad person, John.
We
That is
all
a very...
don't wear
I'm
tinfoil
surprised
hats,
that
John.
you didn't have Team Rory or Team Single.
Well,
Okay, period. You didn't have Team Single on here. That is something that must be addressed. Let's unpack that. We didn't have a selection called Team Single for Rory Gilmore. She was with Single for a whole season.
I know,
Jonathan.
I know, but Team Sing. I feel like that's a different poll. This specifically was a poll for the boyfriends and the evil the evil Scooby-Doo villains.
Yeah, see, I don't have a team. I don't have a team. I think every boyfriend has faults and good qualities. So
Team
I
Single.
voted for Mia because I like Mia, and I don't trust anybody who doesn't, John. So there you have it.
Ow.
Yeah, I gotta agree
I
with
voted
Mia.
for Mia just because it's more fun to vote for Mia right now than for anybody else.
Oh
yeah.
Well, I mean,
That's the closest we're gonna get to Team Single.
Specifically,
regardless, though,
voting
those
for
who
Mia.
did vote put it's more a discussion on like, wow, Dean really is truly not liked by the fandom, or at least by this community.
I
feel
don't.
like
I just don't
that's-
like that he dumped her for the first time when she wouldn't say "I love you," and then he cheats on his wife. It just doesn't sit right with me.
Yeah,
I
agree
don't
with
see it as
Sherry.
him.
I don't care
dumping
about
her when
that.
She wouldn't say it. I saw.
But why
it
not?
as her
Why not
freaking
Marty
out.
though? Why is Marty not pulling? Why is Marty not getting?
Because Jonathan,
blocking the
Team
show.
Single is not on the selection.
Yeah, but
You did not put Team Single there, so I didn't vote at all. I say, you know what? These politics are not important to me. I refuse to vote. I decided to be a white man in 2008 and just not vote. Look, you need to put Team Single on there because that is a part of a person's relationship and growth. And if we want to agree that helped Rory grow or not.
Well, what if Team Mia?
Teach your own.
What if Team Mia is Team Single?
Team Mia is Team Child. Rory was like a child when Mia was in her life the most. Come on, Jonathan. That is better.
But I'm not Team Marty at this point.
Ew.
I just don't see why I don't get Team Marty, because he's a nice guy and I get all his qualities that have been explained to me by people that like him, but he always was just a friend to her. And so I feel like there was just no sexual attraction on
more,
her
but
end
she
to
wanted
him.
none
And
of
I
it.
feel like, that's an important to have that attractive quality, like to be attracted to your partner. And there was just nothing there for her as far outside of a friendship with him.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rachel. Yeah.
Yes.
And he was whiny like all the time.
Emma,
John,
you like Logan and he whines too. Remember that one time when he whined and he thought, you know what, we'll talk about this post show. Anyway, so let me tell you this. Let me tell you this. If we're going to talk about Rory Gilmore, we need to talk about how she should have sat there and stayed in the child's place instead of tell her mom to lie to Lucas, her new man. She should have sat over there and stayed in the child.
I've seen all of the characters whine at one point, or all of those guys.
I agree. I'm not saying. I'm just saying
Agreed.
Marty.
But Marty is, Marty's. I don't know. I guess
I liked him. I liked them as friends, but I agree with Rachel. There was no
Yeah, she was
sexual
totally
attraction
not attracted to him
between
at all.
her with Marty. Like she always considered Marty just a friend. So, and so there was nothing between them. And so yeah, I agree with Rachel.
Yeah,
See, here's the thing, John, is that Marty, I think I love voting for the underdog, but like the reason more people aren't voting for him is because we have seen the entire series. You have not.
We're literally telling him that Marty fucks up later.
Marty does something horrible.
So I have
Not
a question.
horrible.
He helps Mia kill you.
Yeah,
good Lord.
He
Yeah,
helped-
and we hate him.
Yes, he
for that
does.
reason.
Yes, he
So-
does. He does help me kill you.
Oh, no.
He ate the body.
Just mother and son things.
Because you
my
know
gosh.
that there are people who hate Dean from the minute you came in. And when you saw what he's done, you had a different reaction of like, yes, you didn't like it, but you felt sorry for him. So
Right.
take our reactions with a grain of salt.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah,
Diana,
I
you want
agree.
to?
But you know, just taking Marty at face value right now, I still don't understand why anybody wouldn't be Team Marty, because you know, this whole like, oh, she just sees him as a friend. Isn't that a great way to start a relationship?
Totally.
Like,
I was just
Healthy,
and I was
healthy.
just I was
Yeah.
also going to say
I
if
think so.
I also going to say if you want a team single on there, then like what's wrong with a team really great friend on there?
No,
I
I just
don't
want
think
team
that made
single.
him all that
but she's consistently dated guys who like, you know, like definitely she's, you know, she's led by like super, you know, she's super attracted to them and like it hasn't worked out. So like maybe a good friend who she connects with is like what she needs. And I totally think that like the Marty that we see right now with Rory, the Marty and Rory that we see right now is a fantastic, almost flawless basis for a strong relationship. And I always
she doesn't want to kiss it.
I agree with that, Diana.
but we don't know that.
component is so
That's the
important.
thing. Like, we don't know that yet. She's been in a weird situation with Dean. So she was, you know, when he first asked, "Do you have a boyfriend?" She's just like, I don't know.
She wanted
And
to kiss
now-
the other guys. She
Yeah,
wanted.
and in the last episode where Marty was turning around and saying to her that, you know, are you with anybody? And she's like, I don't know. I mean, you can completely see that he's into her and she just doesn't care.
I always
No, but I
understand
think that Diana's point. I think that to Diana's point, it's sort of it's tough to sort of judge that as that's because they just like she just isn't into a guy like Marty, because I think that like right now is a very, very particular place for her. She was with Dean. They just broke up. You know, she's been like kind of a little messed up about her, you know, about her involvement in that whole relationship. I think that in a different setting, she could potentially suddenly look at him and be like, I mean, first of all, he's a very good looking guy. Let's not forget that. He is an attractive man. You know, she's not into him largely because she's just not going there.
She's
And I think
emotionally
that-
unavailable right now. That's
right, emotionally unavailable. So I could imagine in a situation that she might be, something happens, they're in a specific setting, he says something, and suddenly like, oh, I think I'm into this guy. But like, you know, when you have somebody like a Logan who comes on so strong, who's flirting from the get-go, you know, I mean, a guy like that is going to make it a lot easier for you
Marty
to sort
kind
of.
of was flirting from the beginning also.
Not really. I don't.
When
I
he
don't think
approached
it
her
was.
when she came in and he was like, you know, we're leveling the playing field because she got there late.
I know.
When they, I mean, he always seemed to
It just
be
didn't
giving.
seem. It just didn't seem really at that level of like flirting. Really, I don't know. I didn't feel like that to me.
I mean, he was
To me,
flirting
I
in the level of what a 19-year-old would do with flirting. If we're gonna be honest.
Anna, did you want to say?
Yeah, so to me at this point, there's a lot of parallels with Rory and Marty and Luke and Lorelai. So they're starting off as good friends. He sees her being into other guys. Who does Lorelai call when she loses the chick? She calls Luke. Who did Rory call when she lost Anna? She called Marty.
Yes.
There's like a really
Interesting.
big parallel between
Big time.
yeah.
And
So-
you know, you could also make that exact argument that like first episode of the show, like, you know, the Lorelai isn't necessarily giving Luke a ton of like, I'm really into you vibes. And he's already sort of starting to show that he's interested in her.
Right.
He definitely has much more of a friend vibe early on in this show. And we kind of recognized early on that it's that kind of person that is going to be the best for Lorelai. And I think that's why we get behind it. And I think that that's what I'm feeling here with Marty. My gut tells me that he's probably going to decapitate a character in the next several episodes.
You.
Mom.
Or
Trust your gut.
or
Trust your
something's
gut.
going to happen. But as of right now, I mean, if this show was on the air right now and we were all totally in the dark, man, I would actually start to wonder if maybe Marty is that like potential Luke type character, and all these other characters are just meant to sort of distract us.
Right.
Yeah, but
I
she
think
met
it would- I think it would-
Logan, and she, there was that attraction there, and so I feel like maybe I would have thought that when I first watched it, but then it's clear when she meets Logan, it's like that's how you feel when you like somebody, like you get those butterflies.
But didn't she get the
always thought
butterflies?
Chris
Didn't she
was
get the
trying to make a
butterflies
point
mostly based
about
on what they were
Marty.
doing? Like didn't she start to get those butterflies really once they like did this like exciting, crazy thing? Like
I mean, he brought excitement to her. Marty did.
yeah. But I'm
Yep.
saying like I mean that they're. I'm just making the argument that it's not necessarily about him, like or him specifically as a
gotcha.
person, and more about like this whole lifestyle and world that he sucks her into. And of course, like guys like that, or girls like that, whoever, people like that are very alluring, I mean, I would imagine there are lots of people who Logan could do that. I don't necessarily think that it means that Logan is right for you. And I think that that's sort of what I'm getting at with this idea that like the friend can grow into the best type of relationship. Not always, but I do think that we're seeing it a bit with Luke.
Yeah, exactly.
who knows?
Luke
We
is
still
the
haven't watched
example.
A Year in the Life yet.
I'm excited.
Chris,
Sid.
you were saying something?
I gave up on trying to say it because the clubhouse gods don't
Chris.
want me to say it.
Say
no, Chris, say it.
please. Say it.
I think Marty is a relatively uninteresting character overall, and he's just not really somebody that Rory's attracted to in that way. She likes him as a friend. He's a very good and loyal friend, but this is why I wouldn't say I'm Team Marty. I don't think he's a bad person or anything. He's just not all that interesting.
Yep, he's a
And-
two-dimensional character. Nothing a golden retriever at the end of the day.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah, you
but
said it out
period.
loud.
You're so loud,
You know
Regina.
what?
Jesus Christ. No, but okay, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it because Chris brings up a very good point. If we compare Marty not to Rory's boyfriends, but to Rory's friends, Marty is a gray character, like very flat, like not that exciting. Like it's Marty versus Paris versus Lane. Paris and Lane popping. Marty, okay.
He's
Blip
just
on
there.
Rory's radar. He is not even a blip on Rory's radar. That's
Yeah,
that's
he's
it.
just somebody
that's
she
the
met
honest
in
truth.
freshman year.
He's not.
Yeah, like he's kind of like a convenient friend. And that, I mean, that's how Lane and Paris became to be. But after college, your convenient friend just kind of drifts away to, unless y'all are real tight. And I don't know. I have to give Chris her props with that one because that was a really good point that was brought up that like Marty isn't that interesting of a character. And I didn't really think about it that much. I was like, okay, Marty, cool. I was definitely on with John, especially in the first rewatch, because in the first rewatch, like Marty is pretty appealing and it's just relaxing to have him around because he's just there. Like there's not a lot of drama, not a lot of, bing, bang, boom, like all the other characters. But at the same time, he's not like all the other characters. And Roy's used to being with a lot of characters like that. So he's cool to have around, but boyfriend material? Friend material?
I don't agree.
And it's okay. You don't
I'm
have to
actually
agree.
I'm gonna dive. I'm gonna jump off. I've made Chris, Sherry, and Rachel moderators. Obviously, if the three of you are going to head out, make another three folks moderators as well, just so that we can keep the room open. This was good. I mean, I wouldn't put this episode at like the top of my list for this season, but I thought it was a solid episode. I'm excited to see where all of this stuff with
Did you like
Wait,
Kirk in a
I
dress
was just
though?
gonna say, what did you think of Kirk?
Yeah, we
Foster?
didn't get the Kirk.
Yeah,
in
I
the
thought
dress.
that moment was fun. I thought it was fun.
I wonder if Sean Gunn took the dress home.
No, no, definitely not. that he would not be allowed to take that dress home. No, that
John,
that,
one
that
question.
whole storyline was fun.
We're halfway through season 5 here. Well,
Mhm.
this was episode 11. Of
Yep.
the first 11 episodes, which one is your favorite so far?
Ooh, oh, that's tough now. I have to.
You can tell us tomorrow if you want. I'm just because we're halfway
Yeah.
through. I'm just kind of curious which of the first half of the season, which one's your favorite so far. You know,
I mean,
'cause there
I'd
are
say
a lot.
probably the best. I'd say probably the best episode is so far is probably the Life and Death Brigade taking her on that crazy adventure. I mean, that was the most enjoyable episode.
Oh,
Yeah.
You
I
jump
have a
I
funny-
jump Jack. That's
Definitely
episode
the
7.
most beautiful episode, that's for sure.
It definitely was really beautiful. Just also really exciting. It was like, you really were put into Rory's shoes and you got to feel like you were a part of that day. I don't take anything away from how just absolutely just so fun that character and that whole world is. I totally get it, I just don't really think it's great. It's a great basis for a strong relationship, but my mind might be changed as I start to get to know this Logan character a little bit better. Get to know some of maybe potentially some of his weaknesses.
John,
Which
I
you
have
know
a
is
question
stuff.
for you. Okay. So because I missed that You Jump, I Jump Jack episode, I was here when we met Logan and you weren't the biggest fan of him to begin with, right?
No, I
Then
wasn't.
fast forward to the party's over when Dean breaks up with Rory,
Mhm.
right? And Logan is there. And you were
Yeah.
initially rooting for Logan to be there. You were really excited
Yeah.
for him to be there. You were
And
waiting
then I
for
was
him.
really upset with how it ended. I thought that was super lame.
I
didn't
wanted
like.
to ask you, like, why the change of heart?
Oh, because I, well, first of all, a big part of why I wanted Logan to be there was because I predicted that he was going to be there, and I wanted to be right. So just,
Okay, fair.
So just that.
Okay, I'll give you that.
So that part there, right? But then like viewing it from the perspective of just like human behavior and how I feel about what they did there at the end. Like, no, I didn't like it, not one bit. And I still feel like that, and I probably won't be that I don't think I could be shaken from. I certainly could like develop new feelings for Logan, but I'll always view that moment, a bunch of guys drunk stumbling out and gawking at the one guy standing at his car, who's in love with this girl and feels completely humiliated, just like that image is sort of burned into me, and I really didn't like it at all. But the You Jump, I Jump Jack episode, that episode, really changed how I felt about Logan from the previous 2 episodes, which I just saw him as just like this entitled rich kid who talks down to people and thinks he's so smart and thinks he's the smartest guy in the room. I just didn't really like him at all. But then, with the You Jump, I Jump Jack episode, I just, being swept into that world, how could you not have a good time? And so I kind of saw like that's what he provides. He's bringing the good times. But I just think that only goes so far. That's sort of a thin basis for a relationship. Somebody who's just like only bringing the good times, And so I need more from him in order for me to feel like I get why I should care about him as a potential love interest for Rory.
Oh, right. Okay.
All right.
Thanks
All
for
right.
answering my question.
Yeah, no problem. All right. I am off. I'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow, big episode. Tomorrow, an episode that I remember quite well because I spent a whole week learning Korean for it. And we're going to have Suzanne Lee joining us tomorrow, which is going to be really fun. I haven't talked to her in a while. And so that's going to be really cool. Also, something else was somebody reached out to me on Facebook. A guy named Dave Shalansky. Does anybody know who Dave Shalansky is?
No.
Okay, so Dave Shalansky played the role of Harry in episode 20 of this season. And I don't know who Harry is,
Oh, I know who he is.
but he reached out to
Harry
me.
is now. Oh Lord.
Yeah, he reached out to me on Facebook asking if, if he, if he basically like if we would like him to join us and watch that episode. And
Yes,
I was
that would
like,
be awesome.
I was like, are you kidding me? Of course. I don't know who you are. I don't know. I mean, I even tried Googling like Harry, I got nothing. So I don't really know who that is, what it's about. But we've been trading back and forth. I don't know. It sounds like maybe at least initially the time that we do these at 7 p.m. West Coast time, that might conflict with him with something. He's on the East Coast. We were going back and forth. It's possible that I might shift that day a little earlier, which might actually sound a lot better for the East Coasters, that I might do it closer to like around 5. Would that be something that East Coasters would be able to do if I thought that he, could only do that time? Is it worth it? I don't know.
We've
Yeah,
done
it's
it
fine with
before.
me.
We've done that before, yeah.
Yeah, earlier is fine with me.
Yeah, so
Let's
I
take-
might. I have to go back and forth with him, but it's really cool, to have somebody that was in an episode of the show sort of like, hey, I've been watching what you're doing, and I think it's really cool, and I would love to come and lend some of my insight, because it's sort of what I, from the beginning, said I'd hope that this project would evolve into. I like the idea of folks like Suzanne and Eris and these characters who are as much a part of the show as any of the big characters, and coming in, lending their insight. I just could see that. I could just see that happening for a variety of shows, not just for Gilmore Girls. I could see folks wanting to revisit, their old work, and I think it would be really fun. Yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping that you guys are into the idea of him joining.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think
David
that'd be great.
Zelensky.
I absolutely remember who he is now. It took me a minute, but I know who he is. And
He even said in his message that he has like a really interesting story to tell from that day of shooting,
Ooh.
which
I
I
think
just think, which is really cool. I mean, that's just really fun. Like, again, like there are so many stories in every one of, like, in every show that's created. There's like countless stories that you don't know about, because there are so many people that work on these shows, so to have them come in and share their perspective, their view on it, I think is really fun and cool. So I don't even know what he has to share, but he said it was like a big sort of war moment or something like that.
John, how do you spell
think
David
it's really
Zelensky's
cool
last name?
that people are reaching out to you.
It is Shalansky, Shalансky. Dave Shalansky.
So word's getting out, John. It's working.
That's exciting.
Hurrah.
It's really cool.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how he saw it, but maybe through
Twitter?
Stan, maybe. Yeah, maybe Twitter. I don't know.
Maybe
Well, I'm
it's
sure we
just
could ask
super
him when he
popular.
joins.
Yeah. Okay. I will see you all tomorrow.
Good
All right, bye bye.